Continuing on from last week, assuming reincarnation is real and you'd come back here, if you achieve your mission this time around, would you still need to come back? That's a good question. You won't like the answer. Let me know in the comments. Would you come back? Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. And I missed you all last week, so I am so glad to be back.
Last week, I posed the question, assuming reincarnation is a fact, would you come back to Earth? Let me know in the comments. Would you come back? Most people would give a resounding no to that. But the truth is, you would in a heartbeat. You would, or you wouldn't be here in the first place. Your higher self, with far greater awareness of who you are, with all the facts on the table, didn't just say yes. It begged for the opportunity to come here. If you said no, then it simply means you are not in alignment with your higher self. You don't understand why you were here, and that's most likely on you. The best way to avoid coming back is to succeed in what you came here for. But that's actually a misdirect, because when you know why you came here, you know you'd come back. So the obvious question is, why did you come here? What is your mission? And if you don't know it, why don't you know it by now? How old are you? You've had lots of time. Wouldn't it be good to get it, to understand why you came here, at least to the point where you'd agree with that decision? That's where your dreams help you, to understand yourself and your mission. A few years ago, Sandy pushed me to start a private dream clinic. It was my least favorite hour in the week. I dreaded it. The goal was for me to hear a dream and interpret it, but then to also channel on why the dreamer had the dream, to get what that dream was an answer to. Sounds fun, doesn't it? But it required me to push myself. I could do the first part in my sleep, pun intended, see what I did there. I could get the interpretation. The second part was a stretch that my guides also wanted me to pursue. Actually, I have to digress here and confess something. When I started this show, my guides told me to stop calling them guides and to call them what they are. They also told me to talk about God a lot more. I did neither, and I am sorry for that. So my confession now is that my guides are all high-level angels. I knew it and never shared it. And that is big. I didn't know how big back then, but I do now. Anyway, they pushed me, along with Sandy, to look past the dream and answer why the dreamer was given that dream now. And then I was to use that as a jumping off point to find out whatever I could about the dreamer on the other side of the veil. Now that is fun. Again, it was a push from my team of high-level angels and Sandy. She is much harder to ignore than they are.
That's me. I am much harder to ignore, but I don't want you to rush past this, because what's really amazing here is watching in the dream clinic how people changed just from hearing, why am I having this dream now? So now I understand the dream and I'm being able to look beyond it and understand why now. And that was so powerful. I saw so many people change. It was a fabulous couple of years. And to be honest, I really miss it, Michael. I do. Anyways, continue.
See what she's doing there. She's trying to say that her idea was a great idea.
It was.
Actually. Yeah. We ran that clinic for over 2 years. By the end, I enjoyed it. I got really good at seeing beyond the dream and into the spirit world. It was my team who told me to end the private dream clinic. We then switched to intensive dream work with select clients. Week after week, looking beyond the dreams to see what I could see. It began by me seeing their gifts with intense details, pages of details on exactly how to use just one gift. When the person would try it, it just worked. Zap.
Okay. Wow, we got to stop here, Michael. That's amazing. Can you share at least one story about them? I know that you had several clients and they all have excelled. So give us a story.
All right. Well, one woman has the ability to literally zap people back into alignment with their higher self. She has 2 modes of operation. She uses blue light and green light, not together. She has to choose which. And it comes like lightning. She positions her client on a horizontal x-axis halfway between their physical selves and their higher self. And the position point is super important. And then she hits them with the lightning. Of course, they don't feel that, but the shift is huge for them. Another woman has the ability to help you unlock your most important gift. She learned she is friends with the manifestation angels. She works on their level on the other side. She can also fix issues with their gift, but she sees and feels how their gifts work, how it feels for the person using the gift, and how it feels for the person receiving it. So she gets all of that detail. And so she's able to kind of put herself in any of the positions and see what's working, what's not working, and then explain to the person what they need to change. And then she can feel it working properly. And she's like, okay, now you have it. Like really, really astounding. And I mean, I'm saying that quite quickly, but the level of detail is something else.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Because for the most part, I mean, you just tell people, okay, you're a hands-on healer. But to then go to the detail and say, not only can you heal people with your hands, but you can put them back in alignment with their higher self. Or you have the ability to change karma around. Or you have many other things. And you go into detail that's so in depth, is mind-blowing to me. And it all comes from your dreams and going beyond them. I think that's amazing. Okay, let's continue.
It's mind blowing to me as well. This is how I learn a lot about the spirit world, is by looking at somebody, looking at their dreams, and then getting the context to understand the dream and explaining that. Anyway, sometimes their guides would push them like they pushed me. Do this thing you don't like. Do it some more. Put your heart into it and do it again. Once they crossed a threshold, just like me, their dreams changed. And looking beyond the dreams, I could tell them what their new gift was and exactly how to use it. Again, stunning detail. I discovered that each person had many, many gifts, not just a few, and their gifts played really well together. What also developed was my ability to see who the person is on the other side of the veil, what their level is, what their skills are on that side. And I could not help but notice there is always a direct correlation between what you do in the spirit world and what gifts you bring here with you.
Oh, that's very interesting, Michael. Can you give an example of that? Because I think people would be interested in hearing that. Just to know, okay, I am sitting here doing this job and I do something similar on the other side. Let's see. Can you give an example?
Well, one of the women I spoke about, the woman who zaps people back into alignment, she helps angels rehabilitate on the other side. I mean, that's part of what the whole earth plane is for, is to help people purge darkness or grayness or whatever you want to call it. But she specializes in that on the other side, and she helps angels rehabilitate. And on this side, then, she brought part of that ability with her so that she can use her special techniques to help somebody quickly step back into alignment, because it's not a slow process on the other side.
Wow, that's amazing. All righty, let's continue on. What else did you discover?
Well, when you understand who you are and why you are here, you see it in every dream. It is your essence. It's almost laughable how much it is there in each dream. From an additional 2 years of working that program, I can now channel directly on who someone is on the other side. But I also know why I can do that and why others can't. I demonstrated it again and again during our recent in-person 3-day retreat. Something else Sandy pushed me into. Hey, Sandy, I'm beginning to see a pattern here.
And you know what? It is so good for you. I know that they want you to do this, and I'm enjoying watching you push yourself because it's just amazing to watch. Anyways, continue
All
on.
right. She's going to let me continue, so I'm going to continue. I've been working with dreams for 35 years, and the last 4 years have moved me into a level of work I never thought possible. It took 4 years of pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. I didn't want to do it. I resisted, but thank God for Sandy. She knew where it would take me. She designed both the private dream clinic and the follow-on intensive programs. From pushing myself, I know why I came here, and I know I'd come back. I know it with certainty. This is as true for you as it is for me. Push yourself and you will discover great things. Life is meant to push you. Don't look for the easy path. Look for the correct path. The correct path teaches you who you are. Don't be duped. There are fake lights in every field. I've had my own work stolen and taught by others. They claim it as their own. Can a thief with a stolen light guide you? What path do they walk? Do you even want to be on that path? From pushing myself, I know where dream work is taking me. I know the path my light illuminates because it is my path. My angel team and I have prepared for this. In fact, my angel team has worked with me across many lifetimes, the same team. One reason I'm here is because the dream language is changing. Indeed, it already has. I announced this on this show a few weeks ago. By the end of September, it will have changed for most people. While still profoundly deep, the new surface level of dreams is easier for the average person to understand. So you'll have less of an excuse for not knowing your mission.
Can you share something about how the dreams have changed? Just a little detail?
Another thing I can share is that from a spirit world perspective, the shift in dreams puts you more in the driving seat of your life. You are responsible for more of the actions in your dreams than before. You'll see that in the dream because you're the one doing a lot of the things versus watching other people doing things. And what comes with that, though, is less of an ability to shake your fist at the sky and say, why aren't you looking out for me? Because you're going to be more in the driving seat of where your physical life is going.
Well, Michael, that's very interesting to be in the driver's seat and to admit I have felt the difference in the dreams. For me, it was more of a feeling that they felt different. They weren't the same. You want to talk a minute about that?
Well, they do feel different. Like I said, you're more responsible. But there's a lot of very simple rules that come with the change. And I want to wait and put that all together and make something decent out of that.
I think that's a great idea. And I like the fact that you're more in the driver's seat because that's where we really should be. But let's go back a little bit. I want to know how you can see who people are on the other side. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, me too. And it's not something that, I mean, I had done it for people over the years. It had spontaneously happened for me, and I was able to tell people quite remarkable things. Like I would get who somebody was and the context around it so that I would understand it. And I would need to share that context with them for them to understand it too. And like I said, this is often how I built up my picture of the spirit world. But what they told me was, reminded me was, I had 2 near-death experiences. Now I knew this, but I was in the womb when it happened. It happened at about 6 months or so. I was born at 7 months, and so this shows up in my dreams. These 2 near-death experiences, they show up all the time, and they show that the veil is torn for me. But what they've explained to me more recently is that I can look through that torn veil. And they described it this way. If you do a medicine journey like ayahuasca or some other such thing, what that medicine does is it thins out the veil in places so that you can then see something on the other side of it. And it's kind of controlled. The spirit world helps you with that whole process if it's done right. But I've got a complete opening in my veil, and they showed it to me what it looks like. And it's quite big. It's like a viewport into the spirit world. And I'm using that to look at people. So, it's kind of funny because when I look at them, I can see them and I can see who they are. I can see what they look like. And then it comes to me all the other things that I know because of what I'm looking at. And again, like I said, a lot of the time it's eye-opening to me. So for a lot of us, we're on the same kind of mission, same kind of things that we need to do in our lives. But some people are quite remarkable. And when you see them, you're like, whoa, this is amazing. Here you are here. Like I think I shared recently on the show, I met a planner, so somebody comes to me and says, okay, here's my dream. Can you tell me about myself? And I was just blown away. It's like, hey, this is the first time I've ever come across anybody at your level who is here. And again, remarkable. In order to be able to tell her who she is, they had to tell me what planners do. And I had a rough idea, but it wasn't close. Like there was a lot more detail given to me once I saw this lady. And I just absolutely love it. It's my favorite part of what I do. But that just happens over and over again. In that case, she was like, can you tell me who I am? And we don't know when we meet somebody who they're going to be. The package that you come as in the physical world does not reflect who you are on the other side. I can guarantee you that.
That's very interesting. Wow, amazing. Now I have to ask, why can people be duped? Why is this not stopped? What's going on?
Yeah, well, that was an interesting one. That was again from looking at somebody recently and seeing what she had on the other side. For some of us, the lesson is to learn what it feels like to be duped, because we have duped others in a past lifetime. But if we understood how much duping others hurts them, we would never do it. It shows that our ability to discern is broken. And by being duped in a lifetime, in this lifetime, you can learn what it feels like and then learn to discern again so that you can tell the difference. So you come into this lifetime unaware of what it feels like to be duped. You know, how can I tell the difference between someone in the light and somebody who isn't? Somebody who's trying to fool me and somebody who isn't. And you're going to learn it, though, by having the bad experience, by having the unfortunate experience. And that is going to teach you a lesson that's vitally important. And what they've said to me is, we can't just be told that it feels terrible to somebody. You know, if that was the case, then you would never do it. So it's something that we have to learn what it feels like so that we can understand it and park it.
Wow, that's very interesting. Is there any way you could talk more about missions, what people's missions are and why they're here?
Well, rather than what they are, your dreams reveal your life mission. They break it up into tiny little steps, all very achievable. And that's how important your mission is. For 8 hours out of every day, you are reminded of your mission. Now, you can wake up and choose to be an idiot and ignore your dreams, disregard them at your peril, though. You can't claim ignorance in your life review because during each dream, you fully understand its meaning. For this very reason, some of your dreams and your responses in them feature in your life review. And you will remember that you knew what they meant during your life review. Anyway, I digress. Just take it as given. You are here to complete a mission specific to you. If you don't achieve it, when you do come back, you might end up reworking your failed mission into a future life. Avoid that. Make it easy to do what you came here to do by listening to your dreams. That's really my point.
I love that, Michael. That was very well said and very succinct. And for me, it's very interesting because doing this work and being a part of the school and setting up what we've set up is exactly what I do on the other side. I'm here to put, I call it air under people's wings, but I know how it doesn't really work that way. You have to have the air to fly over too in order to have lift. But my job is to lift people and to help them on their path and to empower them.
I can tell you
And
what that
that's
feels like from my perspective. It feels like somebody ties you to the road and then you watch in horror as they get into a juggernaut or semi-truck, as you call it over here, and then they drive over you repeatedly and they say, this is going to be good. Like, keep doing it, Michael.
It has been really good, and it's very good to push you because you just continue to shine, and I love that. Anyways, Michael, we are here to talk about a few dreams. Would you like to do a dream?
Of course.
Alrighty, and this one sounds very interesting. It's called Animals Crawling Out of the Water, and it's by Jane. I'm in a city that feels like a foreign country. To the left of an old apartment building, there's a piece of sea. One by one, animals come walking out of the sea as if they've been in the water for a very long time and are finally able to reach land. A small, dark-skinned child also comes out, very emaciated. All right, Michael, what do you make of that one? That's a very interesting dream.
Well, I included this one because it's a past life dream. So when we have foreign countries, especially places we've never been, or we're speaking languages that we don't know how to speak in this lifetime, or we have like ancient things like castles and things like that showing up in our dreams, that's a past life influence you're bringing into this one. And so the foreign city and the procession of animals plus the emaciated child are kind of like a past life montage, like survivors finally reaching land after a long ordeal. She had this dream because she completed a lot of work on herself now, or she was just hitting that point of finishing the work. And she had closed off a lot of difficulties where she felt she would always be struggling spiritually and lost. And that's what that other life is showing, that she had that feeling in another life, because being lost at sea, because she says all the animals were in the water for a very long time before finally reaching land. Being lost at sea is about struggling spiritually. Now, we can be struggling in life and that's struggling spiritually too. But I think really for her, it's about spiritually. Like, I want to understand myself in relation to God and all that sort of stuff. And she got to that point. And so it closed off that feeling that she also brought with her into this life from another lifetime. It also shows, though, that she has had much harder lifetimes. Think about the image of all the animals struggling there. It's very like the Pharaoh's dream in the Bible, where you have all the fat calves come out and then the skinny calves come out of the water. So I liked it for that reason, that it had that kind of symbolism in it. And it shows how important our mission in life is. It's super, super important. It's to overcome the things that hold us back. It doesn't matter what they are. And the other thing that is always interesting is you might think, I might not know what my spiritual mission is, but we always know what our mission is. We come to the earth plane and we transfer to the earth plane, and it's not abstract. You don't need to go refer to spiritual texts and all that sort of stuff. It's great if you understand dreams and you can figure it out from them and be told, here's what you're meant to do. But life is slapping you in the face with the issues that you need to work on. That's why we say on the show all the time, the obstacle is the way. But our dreams tell us how we're going to overcome the obstacle, or how we're going to grow because of that obstacle, how we're going to become a better person, a better version of ourselves because of that obstacle. And then when we get to a particular point where it's no longer an issue, it's never, ever going to be an issue again. And that's the point, the growth. Anyway, did I explain that dream?
Yeah, I think you did really good, but except for you didn't talk about the skinny child.
Well, you're everything in the dream. The child was dark skinned, the dreamer isn't. So again, it shows her like, you're everybody in the dream. So this is who you were in this other lifetime, a child who was struggling. And then she could probably guess the country based on how the child looked.
Very interesting. To go back to your comment on, are you happy to be here? Would you come back? I think that's very interesting that you put this dream in, because to be honest with you, life here can be very difficult. And especially at this time, it has been very difficult for a lot of people. And a lot of people are out there searching for some kind of ship to hold on to in the night. And I think dreams are the best way to get there. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. What do you think?
That dream is proof that even though you had such a difficult, hard life, you came back to work on the same thing. That's my point. You're going to do it. And even if you have a difficult life here, if you look at how the world has changed, if you go back 150 years, unless you're born into royalty or some other such grace, your life is going to be way harder than it is today for most of us, for the people listening to this show. So we have less of an excuse in today's world to avoid doing the things that we came here to do.
I think we could come up with many excuses, because it seems like time is moving faster. Things are moving faster. We've got a lot of pressures on us with different jobs, with all the social media, with everything that's coming at us. It's like a barrage of stuff always hitting us. So we're always connected 24/7. So I don't know, Michael. It's a different type of pressure, I guess. I mean, at least
Still
we're
pressure.
we're not all starving like when you had to hunt for food and berries and so forth 150 years ago. But at least, hopefully, most of us aren't.
Okay, so
Anyways.
compare your life to the life of a serf, and then
no
tell
thanks.
me that it's difficult today.
No thanks. No thanks. I'll give that up. Okay, right on. We're moving on. Okay, I thought that was interesting that we have animals crawling out of the water also. And from our perspective, the water is,
The spirit world.
that's what I thought. All righty, Michael. Well, guess what we've got coming up in a few weeks? You want to talk a little bit about that? That's our huge October summit. Go for it.
Yes, from 10th to 12th of October, we have a 3-day Dream Interpretation Summit. We take you from beginner stages very gently, like here's what a dream's about, here's how to look for important symbols, here's how to tell when you should ignore a symbol, all the way through some very deep topics so you understand why you have dreams, how to tease them apart and understand them. It's an amazing weekend, packed full of content. I hate these events that you go to and the person keeps telling you that they know something, but they never share it with you, and it's all behind a paywall. We don't do that. We give you tons and tons of information. You walk away as a much better dream interpreter by the end of the 3 days. There's absolutely guaranteed. or your money
And
back,
what's,
or your money
yeah,
back.
well, they get their money back anyways. What I find amazing is our graduates that have done our major programs, that are dream interpreters, voluntarily come back and do people's dreams to support us and to support the school. I absolutely love that. So come and bring one or two dreams, not 100, one or two, and put them out there. And our dream analysts are going to go out and tell you what they mean. And that I find very powerful. What do you think of that, Michael?
So yeah, absolutely true. The way to get a ticket to the event is to go to dream-analysis.com/free summit. And we do ask for a $97 deposit, but you get it back once you show up. So it is free ultimately. And we ask for the deposit because we can only fit a certain number of people into the virtual Zoom room. But it also makes sure that everybody who's there wants to be there. It's not just somebody showing up to heckle and all that sort of stuff. So we curate the rooms. It's going to be fun. We have games that we play all the way through for you to test yourself. We put symbols up on the screen and we say, you tell us what gift this symbol means, even though you've never seen it before in your life. And you will tell us because we will have told you how to tell. And people are always impressed with that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We try to make the weekend fun. It is, we do it twice on Friday for 2 hours, I think it is. That way we can support Australia as well as Europe because we're on the west coast of the United States. And so we're trying to hit everywhere. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we go the full day. And it's very interesting because you can see when the people from Europe leave and the people from Australia join because as the day moves on. It's great. Anyways, that's what we attempt to do.
It does also highlight the fact that the dream language is the same for everybody across the globe. I think you counted it 1 year we'd 89 different countries
Yeah,
showed
something
up,
like
and the
that.
next year it was like there was three more. It's like it's the same language for everybody, and that's absolutely fascinating. It's your first language. It's the language of your soul. You're going to learn so much about yourself when you understand how your higher self talks to your soul and tells it how close it is or how not close it is to achieving the mission that it came here for. It's absolutely fantastic. dream-analysis.com/free summit. We would love to see you there. It's interactive. I will interpret some dreams from people live on the stage as well. So big difference between the show and this is the interactivity is a huge part of it. But I think that's it. We're out of time, Sandy.
Yep. All righty. Thank you, everybody. And it's great to be back this week and say hi to all of you. And I'm looking forward to talking to you next week. So have a great week. Bye.